guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Ordinary's Vitamin C product. It's one of their 8 different products that they have launched under their Vitamin C range, and the product that I chose was Vitamin C 30% in silicone. Now Vitamin C 30% is pretty much the intensity of the vitamin C used in the product, and it is a suspension in silicone. The reason it is suspended in silicone are pretty much for 2 basic reasons. One is the fact that it maintains the potency of vitamin C. It's water free, therefore it keeps it potent. And the second thing about it is that it gives you a very smooth finish when you apply the product. So if you haven't used vitamin C before, I would suggest that you start using it in smaller percentages and then slowly build up on that. I chose vitamin C in 30% because I've used 20% vitamin C in ferulic acid. I used to use a different brand called Skin Diva. I've also done a review on that product. If you'd like to go and actually view that product and its review, I will just put a link right here. Apart from that, the reason I decided to switch to the Ordinary brand was pretty much simple. The name in itself made me very curious about the brand, and I got to learn more about the brand and its products. And 2 reasons I like this brand again. One is the simplicity in which they approach the product, that is, the product's name in itself is based on what's in the product. There's no fancy names like tightening and brightening and whitening and firming and anti-aging and essence and all of that. They keep it so simple and so easy to understand. The product I bought is a 30 ml tube. Previously I used to use the vitamin C 20% ferulic acid. It was a bottle with a dropper, and while that product is as good as well, the reason I chose this is because the more you expose vitamin C to the air, the less potent it becomes, and it tends to oxidize, and that brings down its potency and pretty much its benefits. So in the serum form, when you buy vitamin C, it's usually clear when you first buy it, and over the course of time you would actually see it yellowing and eventually browning. If it browns, don't use it, throw it away. It's as good as useless. If you go into the Ordinary's website, they have a little tab on the left bottom corner called Vitamin C, and when you click that, it pretty much lists all their 8 different vitamin C products. When you first look at the name, and if you're not a science person, like I'm talking about basic science, which I am not, I first read this and I was like, you know what, maybe I need to grab a cup of coffee to read the names of these products and figure out what's going on here. But when I actually went into it and I started reading, I realized the advantage of them actually listing the products the way they do. So if you go to the table, which pretty much forms under the Vitamin C guide, the Ordinary guide to vitamin C, the table actually gives you all the 8 different products, what kind of packaging it is, what kind of texture, what kind of formulation, potency, stinging. That's something I'm going to be coming into. The absorption and the cost. The cost obviously ranges from a single dollar sign to a double dollar sign. Pretty much a single dollar sign means it's on the lower end of the price range, and the double dollar sign means it's on the upper end of the price range. Coming to the packing, they come in tubes, they come in a container, they come in a drop bottle. Texture is another important thing. They have a heavy serum, with a smooth finish, light powder, light oil, light serum, light cream, all of that. Formulation, that is pretty much how the vitamin C is suspended. Now this is a very important thing. The way it's suspended contributes to how well the vitamin C remains potent during the time that you're using it. So suspension is pretty much the way that they've done it. Like, suspension is when they're basically putting it in something. For example, the product that I bought is vitamin C in silicone. So basically it's suspended in silicone. There's no water which prevents it from oxidizing and losing its potency, which is a brilliant thing. Powder format is vitamin C in its most natural form with the most potency, and then they have a different kind of emulsion, solution, serum, basically serum based, which is a little more lighter and more easier to use, especially for beginners. Potency is, like I mentioned, very high to moderate. They really don't have a low potency. Why would they? And then they have stinging. Stinging is very important because pretty much when you use vitamin C, I would compare it to putting lemon on your face. So when you put lemon on your face, if any of you guys have, you would know that it stings a little bit. That's because of the vitamin C in it. And it's a similar thing with these products. It does sting a little bit, but there's no irritation. No irritation whatsoever. I haven't personally felt any irritation. Mostly you would definitely feel stinging, but no irritation. If it irritates your skin, please stop using it, because it means that your skin is too sensitive to that product. And then it comes to absorption. Absorption is how quickly it absorbs into your skin, pretty much from 10 to 20 seconds. And there are some as low as 1 to 5 seconds. And that's pretty much what the table offers you. So guys, use the table. If you're not a good reader, if you don't want to bother yourself reading through all of that text, just go by the table and choose your product. That's what I did. Coming more specifically to the product I chose, it's vitamin C suspension 30% in silicone. And the reason I chose this is because one is it's in a tube, so I don't end up exposing the product to air every time I open it. It's only what you squeeze that comes out into your hands. And the second thing is the suspension I chose was silicone, and this is because I wanted a smooth finish. I didn't want it to be gritty when applying. Now that I've used this form of vitamin C, I think I prefer the serum form, and I might actually go back and buy vitamin C in its serum form next time when I'm done with this tube. So as we all know, vitamin C is good for basically two things. One is brightening your skin. How it basically brightens the skin is by its acidic nature. Pretty much it kind of gets rid of all your dead skin cells and promotes cell turnover, which is also why it is very useful in reducing the signs of aging, because it kind of pushes your skin to renew itself. And the second thing is it's actually an antioxidant. An antioxidant pretty much means that it prevents the oxidation process, or rather the cell damage process, to put it in a simpler term. I put a very tiny drop of it on my hand, and then I'm going to blend it in so that you can see its consistency. It's obviously a little thick in consistency. You have to really rub it in quite well because of its thickness, and I would recommend that you keep rubbing it in until you get rid of a gritty feeling. This formulation still leaves a gritty feeling, so I think you should rub it in, and within seconds of applying it you would feel a little bit of tingling, but there should be no irritation. If you do have irritation, like I mentioned, please don't use it. Get help. You also need to store it in a dark, cool place. Again, this is because you need to maintain the potency of it. You don't want it to get oxidized. So the packing comes in a quantity of 30 ml. It retails for $6.80 in Canada. And in India, I can see that although they don't have a direct outlet, you can actually find it online, and it ranges between around 1,600 to 1,700 or even 2,000 rupees. You can use this product for a good 2.5 months, and how I prefer to use this product is I usually only apply it on the areas that I want to basically brighten my skin or reduce hyperpigmentation every other day, and the other days I apply it all over my face. So that way I'm getting a good coverage, and I'm also building on the areas that I want to have extra brightening and extra benefit. Also, if you think that the product is a bit too strong, you can always go down in terms of its percentage. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys like my review, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.